best Noli you've ever seen in Forsaken is. Maybe it's Oxyteo, maybe it's Pocket Loaf, maybe Meat Kill, or maybe even your friend Timothy. Whoever you said, you're probably wrong, because none of them compared to. So you may be wondering now, who the hell is Cloud? Well, in my opinion at least, he's the best Forsaken player Noli has ever seen, and is most certainly the best Noli player Forsaken has right now. But before we get into all that, let's talk about what you just watched, because what you just saw wasn't a highlight reel handpicked to make him look good. No, that's just a Tuesday for him. That's just a Tuesday, you know, just rocking up to any team on the planet, and hope he does all that. I mean, in fact, some of that was against the best teams on the planet. He makes them look like they're getting pub stomped. Like, what? I'm going to try to show the perspective on how good he is here by using comp stats, because pub stats would just be, oh, he server wipes every game. He has a full server wipe rate against comp players of a 78% are server wipes over 100 rounds. That is nearly perfect. For the record, in comp, you're expected to get 1 to 2 kills a round. He gets every single kill 78% of the time, basically 80%. And on top of this, he server wiped a competitive team without M1ing a single time. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what exactly makes Cloud looks different. We're going to go through his stats, how he actually plays Noli in a way that everyone else does. And then we have an interview, because I sat there and I asked him everything there was to ask. The text, the mindset, the competitive takes, all that. And whether he thinks anyone can actually touch him. This is Cloud, and this is how he plays Noli. But first, before we get into any of that, we need to talk about how Cloud even got here in the first place. How does someone go from loading up Forsaken for the first time to being the best Noli player the game has ever seen? How about I let the man himself answer that?
Yo, my name is Cloud, and I think I would consider myself the best Noli player in the game, and also a very good player overall. I'm playing Forsaken since like 11th January 2025, and I don't think I'm gonna stop soon. I have 40 days of playtime, but if we count the private servers, it will be probably close to 60 days. And also a fun fact, my height is 5'5", but I would consider myself a giant. I joined competitive scene on 8th July 2025. I saw a video on YouTube, I think. It was like when Zeus was still the owner of RFL, and it was some video showing the competitive gameplay, and that hooked me, and I wanted to play competitive since then.
And from that on, it's just history. Cloud has been one of the most feared Nolis, at least in the competitive scene. But what actually makes him so hard to play against? Let's get into it. So what actually makes Cloud different from every other Noli player? Well, first of all, something you might notice from watching the footage in the background is that he doesn't tunnel someone super hard. Most Noli players will try to tunnel the setup support. Most Noli players will tunnel. Or less experienced Noli players might just go around trying to kill everyone at the same time without any rhyme or reason. The thing Cloud focuses on most though, generally at least, is that he tries to find who's going to give him the best chase in that moment. Because a good early chase is better than just going for whoever is the most frail technically, because you know, positioning and all matters a whole lot, especially for Noli, who is not the best. And something Cloud really focuses on is he's constantly counting the stamina. Not just his own obviously, but literally every survivor he is able to track. He knows who is low if they're near him, who is full and who can actually reach cover and who can't. And he uses that to decide a lot of things. Rather than just throwing out void rushes randomly, he really focuses on it. I know that sounds stupid, but like, he really does. There's a lot of decent void rushes you'll see him not take, because he knows just down the line there's going to be a really good void rush. And a lot of us will never think that far ahead. We'll just think, okay, we might be able to get a slam here, so we're going to go for the slam now. And generally the way he uses his abilities changes over the course of the game. Early on in the game, he only really commits to Void Rush when he has a good idea where at least 3 of the survivors on the map is. And he doesn't really use it when he's just chasing someone. No, he uses it when he knows where multiple people are, so he doesn't need to go for one specific 50-50. You'll see in a lot of the clips earlier, yeah, that's what he's doing. He's chaining, because not just because it looks cool. He obviously likes going for the clips. You ask him, he loves going for the clip. But also because it ramps up more and more damage, getting the entire team frailer and frailer and frailer. Further on into the game, when there's less people to go to if you want to play it fancy, he just kind of focuses on doing it when the survivor's too low stamina to reach cover, or too low stamina to even take a 50-50, and he just gets the free slam and probably gets the kill off of that alone, since it's practically the same as after you get gashing wounded. And when a survivor is on low health, he doesn't really scramble to hunt them down. He lets the game do the work. They either come to him or they let their other teammates die. Either way, Cloud wins the exchange without wasting a single second chasing at a disadvantage. And for use of Observant in his gameplays, he doesn't really use it that much. He only really teleports if he's at a really bad chase, and from what I could tell, you just wants the aura read, since there's no point to just chase resetting normally. Especially since it can take a lot of the 50-50s out of after a chase reset on where the survivor's going to run. Are they going to pre-run, are they not? You know, all that. Everything Cloud does is aggressive, but it's never reckless aggression. It's aggression with a system behind it, and that system is why 78% of his competitive rounds ends with every single survivor dead. Cloud is a very mechanically skilled player with really good game sense, but how is that fully turning out for him in game? Well, let's talk about the numbers, because this is where you can really see it. As said before, across 106 tracked rounds, Cloud wiped the lobby an entire 83 times, up to a 78% full wipe rate against competitive players. 2 of those against the 2 best teams in the world out of the 4 teams he played against. Only 3 out of those 106 rounds ended in 0 kills. 3. As said earlier, against domination, 10 games without losing a single one. Perfect record. In one of those rounds, he didn't even use his M1 a single time. Against Fusion Coil, my team, he pulled off a full wipe in 1 minute and 42 seconds. Against CCEU, debatably the best team in the world, or at least best in the entirety of Europe, got it in 1 minute 54 seconds. Those aren't flukes, this is just how he plays. And if that wasn't enough, he chained Void Rush against 4 survivors 6 times. 6 re-rushes against 4 survivors. You know how crazy that is? On a map with 4 survivors? Let the sink in. It's trying to get in. 78% full wipe rate, 106 comp rounds on just Noli. And in case you want to wonder what his pub stats are, well, he has 94% killer wins on his killer rounds. He has 2,529 wins to 165 killer losses. And it's even worth mentioning, he only started noting down his win rate in competitive only 2 months ago, so we don't have near the entire story. As said in the intro, there's a lot of undocumented time where he was playing too, maybe against worse, maybe against better teams. But overall, his stats are definitely backing him up. Anyways, moving on to what you are probably waiting for. So this moves us on into the interview section of the video. There's not much yap to be had here, so let's just get straight into it. How long have you been playing Noli, and when did you realize you were genuinely better than everyone else at him?
I think I'm playing Noli since like the release. I never really got bored of him. His concept is really well made, and he's also really fun to play in pubs or competitive. The part on when did I realize I'm the best, because I think the results speak more than words, and judging by them, I think I'm the best.
What made you stick with specifically Noli over every other killer?
The thing that made me stick with Noli is definitely the potential of his abilities. You can hit crazy Void Rushes or Novas, and you can get some really nasty clips.
Walk me through the first 30 seconds of round. What are you doing and why?
Okay, when it comes to the first 30 seconds, I will explain it by a vid. So, the timer starts now. I go. I'm looking here to see if anyone goes there, and also here. So I see this part. I can also hear if footsteps are on the ship. I look at the ship. I made my camera at the back so I can hear the sentry, so Builderman is here. Builderman is the first target. I Nova the sentry and just chased him. I didn't let him go to the big loop. I committed. Use my Nova M1. Here I tried to do a sneaky Void Rush, but it didn't work. 30 seconds are done. But I still M1 second time and third time. 33 seconds. That's what I do.
A lot of Noli players use Void Rush like all the other dash moves. What are they missing?
I think the most common mistake of people using Void Rush is that they don't know what they really want from it. For example, if I use Void Rush, I know where at least 2 survivors are, and I also know their stamina counter. So I don't miss my Void Rush.
If a new Noli had to master one move first, which one would you tell them to do? Nova or Void Rush?
I think when it comes to mastering Void Rush or Nova, the best choice is to master Nova, because it's all about the timing and where you want to throw it. So it's really easy to master it. But Void Rushes require timing, accuracy, consistency, and wide game knowledge.
Which survivor genuinely gives you the most trouble, and how do you deal with them?
Ooh, if I would have to give an answer on which survivor gives me the most trouble, I would say it's definitely N7 for most Nolis. But I know how do I make his clone really less viable. So hyping to time or V it is. Hyping to time is really hard to deal with, and V you can just Nova the sprays. But for hyping to time, even if you react, predict, it doesn't change pretty much anything.
Is there a survivor you think is just a free kill against Noli?
I think most survivors can be a free kill against Noli. And let me explain. So for example, when 2-time will miss his backstab, then he's pretty much dead, if no one will help him. Also same applies to V bumping into the wall, but that probably will not happen. Nova and M1 combo is really strong. It is 40 damage and can lead to even second M1. And also Builderman, if he gets a bad chase, then he's just dead in 20 seconds.
What's the worst habit you see even decent Noli players doing?
There is a very dangerous habit on Noli. So most of the killers you kinda can just spam the abilities, but for Noli it's really important to time your Void Rushes and Novas, because if you don't really time them, then the survivors will always outrun them.
Where would you rank Noli compared to the rest of the killers on a tier list?
Ooh, a ranking, wait. That means tier list. So, I think we need to have some groups. For example, if we're talking about fun killers, then Noli, for me, is definitely the first. If we're talking strength-wise, then I would say that Noli is perfectly balanced when it comes to other killers. At least in comp. In comp, the stronger killers are definitely Cool Kid, Nos, and 1x. And the worst ones, I think, are Slasher, Sixer, and John Doe. But it applies on who's playing the killer. I'm talking in most cases scenario. On how easy Noli is to play, I think he's the hardest, or at least the second hardest killer. I think John Doe or Sixer could beat him, in how hard it is to play him, but I'm not so sure.
You have a full server wipe rate against comp players of 78% over 100 tracked rounds. Do you think that's a reflection of Noli's strength, or do you think it's a reflection of your own skill?
Okay, that's gonna be a really hot take, but I don't think Noli is OP. Because someone once said in RFL General that Noli is getting nerfed because of me. But like, yeah, in pubs, Noli is really strong because you can get free chains. But like in comp, you still need like amazing skill to play him. Like, yeah, it solely relies on your skill, on how strong he is. I would say he's like the most skillful, or second skillful, the most skillful killer in Forsaken.
You chained Void Rush up to 6 times, 3 times across these games. With only 4 people on the map, how do you even set that up?
When it comes to chaining, first things first is that I need to make the survivor slow, like between 20 HP or less, because if they are like below or equal 20, then you can chain them twice without getting them slammed. So that's the good way. The good way to start a 6 chain is to force N7 to use clone. Then you just double chain the clone, and then you can like work things. Like you can go after N7 again, so you can get a 4 chain, and then it's after that it's kinda RNG. But you can get a 6 chain.
The official competitive rule set bans a total of 7 survivors against Noli. Do you think that's accurate, or are there survivors on that list you could handle without the ban? And if so, what would your perfect survivor list be plus combo bans?
I'm not really a rule committee, so I cannot say much about bans. But I think the balancing for Noli is good, I think. It doesn't need any change, and if it does, I don't really know what I would change. I think 2-time, and maybe like change it with chance or something, because like hyping 2-time is really a pain in the ass.
Pirate Bay is the only team versus killer map approved for Noli. Does that feel limiting, or does it feel like it's genuinely the only fair map?
I'm really happy with Pirate Bay being the only map, because I think it's the only good comp Noli map. There was Brandon Works before, but like it was too survivor sided, I think. And I don't really reckon any other better maps.
Has the competitive meta changed how you play Noli, or do you still play him the same way regardless?
I've played Noli for a long time. I think like half a year. And my gameplay has really changed a lot. I really struggled in Brandon Works, but Pirate Bay for me seems really perfect.
And lastly, is there anyone else you'd consider an actual rival in terms of technical skill?
If it comes to rival, then I need to get credit to Dado from Clearcoms in RFL, and also Blue from Eidolon. I think they're second and third best Noli in this game.
So, who's the best Noli in Forsaken? You've seen the playstyle, you've seen the numbers, you've heard it straight from the man himself. And the answer hasn't changed since the start of this video. What makes Cloud different isn't just 78% server wipe rate, or a perfect 10 out of 10 against a competitive team. It's the way he thinks. Perfect stamina counting, the patience mixed with aggression that never wastes a single fucking second. Most players pick up Noli and learn his moves. Cloud picked up Noli and he figured out what those moves actually meant. There are good Noli players. There are great Noli players. And then there's Cloud. There will never be another like him.